You're not muted.
I know I'm not muted. I'm just testing it out.
All those who can, go ahead and check the YouTube link I sent you just to make sure it looks good to you guys. It should be up and running now.
All right, I'll check it now.
Tim and Tyler, you guys are co-hosts.
All
now.
those who can, go ahead and check the YouTube link I sent you just to make sure it looks good to you guys.
Tyler Johnson, I see you're listed as Tyler Johnson as a co-host, but I also see that there's two Frank Johnson sign-ons.
Terrell's.
Yeah, the Frank Johnson.
So if you go ahead and pass me host, then I can take care of it from here.
You want me to make
Pass
it,
it.
Tyler?
I see you're listed as Tyler Johnson as a co-host, but I also see that there's two Frank Johnson sign-ons.
All right, so
Terrell's got it on YouTube as well. That's why there's that. If you go ahead and pass me host, then I can take care of it from here.
Okay. And Terrell will be able to stop that before the program begins?
Yeah, he can just mute it.
I'll be able to start what or stop? What did you say, Dan?
You got to echo because you got YouTube on as well.
Because you have YouTube, yeah, it's like a 7-second, 10-second delay echo of everything we say.
I just turned it off now. You shouldn't hear it any longer. Or I muted it is what I did, so I can still see it, but I can't hear it anymore.
Gotcha.
So we're all set, or?
Yeah, you could, Terrell, you can go ahead and log into your regular account now.
Oh, perfect. Leave. All right, so I'm gonna leave altogether.
Yep.
Leave meeting. Tyler, I'm gonna make you host.
Perfect. Hey, on Nancy.
Hi, Tyler.
Hey, there you are. Hey, Ty.
Good to see you. Tyler, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Great. We're sharing mics over here, that's why.
Okay.
Just testing
No muted. Say hi.
Good morning. Good
Morning,
afternoon.
Now,
Hey, we got you guys in clear too. Awesome.
Okay, great. You-
Tim or Tyler, perhaps a good idea. Have the YouTube link already copied onto your clipboard so that if somebody who you don't recognize comes into the waiting room, you can let them know that you won't be admitting them, and you can give them the YouTube link and let them know that they can use that link to enter to view the service.
Got it.
Tyler Johnson, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is there any reason why I can't see? Let me see if I do this. I don't see the feature to go from gallery view to speaker view any longer. It was there a minute ago.
Do you see the image I'm sharing?
Yeah, I see that. Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Also, I forwarded to all four of my sons Uncle TJ's video, but I was having problems opening it.
Yeah. No video came through on that email. I just emailed you back.
All right, let me send it back again. Let's see what happens.
Yep.
Test it out. Your screen is hesitant. Like,
yeah,
it's a delay.
is a delay. That's what I'm finding out.
I'm wondering, because you see, we have all this, we have 1, 2, 3 things. Shouldn't be that bad, but. See if it works. No, it works now. But why is it not?
It's frozen.
Hey,
Hey,
Hi,
how
how
are
you
you?
doing?
we're doing all right. Thanks for coming.
Okay, we love your family.
Yes,
So,
we do.
Hey, Warren.
Hey,
It's good to see you, man.
yeah, good to see you too. Hi, everybody.
Hey, brother.
Hey, Warren.
Hey, Easton, how Dave doing, Easton?
You doing okay? Say hi,
You
Dave.
good? You
Hey,
good?
Warren.
Hey,
Say hi, everybody.
hi, everybody.
Hey, Warren.
Hey,
Hey, Frank.
hey,
Brother
man.
Dave. How
Oh,
you?
Easter, how are you?
Okay,
Sorry,
Dave's
brother
over
Frank.
here in the corner.
Brother Frank.
Hey, Dave. How's it
Brother
going?
Frank.
Frank.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Warren.
You
Thank you,
ain't-
Warren.
You never with your iPhone on, brother Thompson.
Thank you so much.
You
We
welcome.
appreciate,
Oh, that's so sweet.
we appreciate you.
Sincerity too, Brother Johnson. We were very sad to hear it.
Yeah.
Very sad.
Thank
Hey,
you.
sir. Brother Thompson,
Hey,
they
Tina
just-
and Alan.
Brother
Hi,
Thompson, your
Jess.
song right there? Huh? Brother Thompson.
That's the most I heard Warren talk.
I know.
Brother Thompson. Brother Thompson.
Wait for the new word.
Yes.
Is
Yes,
your
Warren.
song right there?
Say again?
Is your song right there?
Yes, there's
What
two
your
sons
name?
there.
Sir?
There's Torrance and Tyler right now that you
Hey,
can see.
sir. Hello, sir.
you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you feeling today?
Hey, Torrance. Yep. Torrance.
Hey, Torrance.
Thanks to Anthony, Sister Martin.
We got a lot of good memories.
Hey, we have excellent memories.
A lot of good times.
Yeah.
Oh, going there, sir. We was a funny
Hey, Princess.
congregation.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
Princess, how you doing?
Uh-huh.
Dave, how you doing, buddy?
I'm just trying to hang in there, Frank.
Hey, don't hang in there. Hold on tight.
We're not hanging.
So hold on tight, baby. Hold on tight.
Yeah, he is.
Both hands in a firm grip.
Sorry, Dr. Ross. I'll talk to you.
Okay,
I'll call you later on.
that sounds good, Dave. I love you. Love you, man.
You too, my brother.
I know you do. I know you do. I feel it. I feel it. Thank you.
Hi, Torrance. Hi, Tyler. Aunt Tina here.
Tina, hey, Alan. It's good to see you guys.
Yeah.
Been a while.
Right, it's been
Hi,
quite a while.
Tina. Hi, Alan. Thank you so much for all your hard work.
Oh,
Helping
absolutely.
get everything together. We appreciate you very much.
Oh,
Thank you.
my gosh.
This is Aunt Nancy.
Hey, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Aunt Sess. How are you today?
Yeah.
We don't hear you.
Yes.
We'll talk.
I don't know. Do you have your mic on?
I know my microphone has a separate mute and unmute button, and sometimes
Yeah.
I hit that.
How you
It
doing,
shows
sir?
that you have a mic on, Sess, but we're not hearing you.
Very nice, isn't it? Like this situation there, if I want to go down there. Stop, bro.
Mhm.
Everybody could.
Tyler, did you test out
It's for everybody.
cousin Sharon? She's there with the roses.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think her image is really dark. We're not going to be able to see her. If we can
Okay,
get-
I'll put more light on it.
Yeah, put light in front of you. You want to face
Yeah.
the light.
Okay, I have it propped up a certain way for my comfort level.
Understood.
Your sound is coming through awesome. Though.
It is? Okay, great.
Perfect.
I'll play around with it. Let me see. I got to find another spot. And then you know what? I have had trouble with my Wi-Fi and I didn't want that to mess up. So I have it just right there by the router so that you don't have any problems, you know, when it's time to speak.
Yep, and I'm not getting any lag or anything. It's perfect.
Good.
Hi, Sharon.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
Doing okay. I'm sorry it's now, but I'm happy to see you. Happy to see everybody, actually.
Same here.
Hi, Trey.
There we go. Now
Girl.
we can hear
Now you can hear us, right?
Now we
Well,
can, yeah.
Okay. Your mic was plugged in? That's why.
No, I had it. It wasn't turned on. My mic
Oh,
wasn't turned on.
See that? I was
There
hearing.
we go. We hear
Hey
you loud
Frank, how
and
you
clear.
doing?
Very good, Jerome. How are you, sir?
I'm out and about and with the kids, and I was like, hey, and I just noticed what time it was.
Gotcha. Well,
How you
thank you for
doing?
hanging in there. Thank you very much for your comforting words.
You already read it, so they don't have to do it.
Thank you so much.
You should have it.
Appreciate that.
You know I'm down in Florida, so I'll chat with you later.
Okay, understood.
Okay.
Understood. Appreciate you.
All right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he's in Florida. But you're not where Frank said.
Hi, Torrance. Cal.
Hi, Tina. Hey, Alan.
Hi, Maureen. Hi, Uncle Todd.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, everybody.
Tyler, can you do me a
Hi,
favor
Sharon.
and
Mwah.
forward?
Can you hear me? I don't know if I'm on mute. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Tyler, can you do me a favor and forward the detailed schedule to Uncle Todd, just so he can have it as well?
On its way.
I added a few names to the list just in case there's an issue later on, but there's always YouTube, so no big worries about it.
Not a problem.
I'm looking at the YouTube. Looks good too. I have it on mute, but looking at it to see how it's coming across.
Good.
Trey, where do I come in the service? Just to be prepared.
Pretty much right after Uncle Bob's reading of the obituary, we're going to come and interview you. So you're like second after the reading of the obituary.
Hi, Trey. You see me?
Hey,
Yes, Tony.
I hear you.
You hear
I'm
me?
looking there. Now I see you.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi,
Tony.
everybody. Hi, everybody.
Hey. Hi, Tony.
Hi, but I can't see you guys. Hi.
Hey. I can't.
You just have to
there
keep.
you are. Okay.
You have to keep swiping your phone back and forth, Tony, and you can see different people.
Oh,
so if you just, it's like swiping pictures.
I did. I swipe.
Hey, just swipe back and keep going one way and then going the other way.
Bob.
There we go.
I see Aunt Cecily.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I see Hazel.
Oh, she knows
Hazel, that's my sister, Tony.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Hazel and Melanie, that's my
Hey,
sister.
Tim. That's
Hey,
your
Mr.
who?
Harper.
My sister.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, I remember. Yes. Yes.
Hi, Tony.
Don't understand.
Junie.
I
Say
can
hi.
see,
Hello. Hello.
Bob, sis.
Mhm.
See him?
Tim and Danielle, how are you?
Tom, Nancy,
Hi,
Tina,
Timothy.
Alan. How's everyone doing?
Bye.
I'm Maureen.
Oh, hey, Aunt Marine. I didn't even see you.
We're going to
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Tim, I'm sorry.
It's okay, you can say hello to me too.
Todd on the street, I would ask him, are you related to any Johnson?
Yeah, we would.
Hi.
Hi.
Love a pretty rose.
Yeah. All right.
Hi, Todd.
All right. How you doing, Tal?
Hi, Uncle Bobby.
Hey, hi.
Hey, Warren, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Good. Hi, Assembly.
Hi.
Oh, there it is.
Let me go
It
back.
did freeze.
Hey,
Hi,
Tyler,
Nancy.
can you send me a copy of what the program is electronically? So
Yeah,
I,
Hi, baby.
I'll shoot it over to you. Just one sec.
okay, fine. Do you have my email?
I know I do.
You want me to give it to you shorthand?
Yeah, that'll work.
That'll work. Robert at rwja.com.
On its way.
Something I can remember.
That's
Yeah, I saw some pictures of Charmaine, her sisters.
Am I coming across right now?
Yes, better. The lighting's better.
No, I meant verbally because everybody was freezing and I didn't know why.
Nope, you're with us.
You're with, yes.
I'm almost tempted to get in the car and go drive out of this area and go sit somewhere so that I know that it won't drop.
no, we don't want that.
We pray when your time comes, it'll just be perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, that I can. Okay, I'm with that.
And I'll fill in blanks of if you get stuck.
Bowtie says hello.
Okay.
Roll tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll time.
Oh, this is dog. It's so cute.
Little doggy.
Hi, Swagado. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Mikal.
Michelle.
Hi.
Cow.
Hi, Mikal.
Tyler. Hey, bro. Hi, Titi.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, Frank. Sorry to hear about your mom.
Thank you, Louie.
Hey, Aunt Tony.
I know.
Hey, Hassan.
I forgot.
All right, Tio and Titi say hi.
Hey.
The happy
Oh, there's another one. Oh, look at him.
baby.
Here's Mom's Frisk.
Yeah.
Oh, she's beautiful. Look at that.
She was.
That was your mom, Frank?
Go ahead.
Oh, goodness.
Louis.
Louis.
Yes, she was beautiful.
Yes, she was beautiful.
That was my mother's mother.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Your mother's mother.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Well, she gave birth to your mother. So, hey, the beauty continued on.
Can we go backwards? I want to see that grill again. Where are you, Frank, in that picture? Oh, there you are. I see you in the back. That's you, Frank?
Some pictures. Some pictures that they're showing of mom, kids when they were small. Oh. Like I said.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl.
Awesome.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Still in Florida. Wow.
Is that you?
Mhm.
There you go.
Let's call that down.
Hey, I remember that.
I ain't set the phone yet. It's 2 hours later. Yep, John's a smile. Very good.
Hello, everyone. My condolences.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's go down now.
No, it says mute.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Johnson family, I'd like to welcome you to our event this afternoon. My name is Frank Johnson Jr. For those who don't know, I'm Helene's eldest son. We just wanted to give you a few instructions for the processing of our meeting. We have two platforms today that the meeting is being displayed on, that being YouTube and also a YouTube live stream, and many are in the main Zoom room. So this instruction is going to apply to those in the main Zoom room. As time permits, we will have the opportunity for some comments and expressions. If you are able to give those comments and expressions, we'd appreciate it if you could try to raise your digital Zoom hand. Well, how do you do that? You tap your screen, and if you tap your screen, you should see in the upper right 3 dots. You can try it now or not, but this is more when we get to the commenting. If you hit those dots, you should then see the phrase raise hand. You hit that raise hand, and that's how we'll be able to know that you want to give a comment. We see some have figured it out already. Very good. Also, that same way can lower that hand. And so now if you hit it again and hit lower hand, we'd appreciate that, so that we'll be able to see that hand that's raised at the appropriate time. We always want you to be mindful that those in the Zoom room, even though your mic is intended to be muted, it could turn on at a moment's notice unmistakably. We also want to recognize that those who have their cameras on, or even if you think it's off, you could be viewed by others, and we certainly want to keep the dignity of this affair going. Very good. And finally, we just want to let everyone know that this is a celebration of life service. Our family, like many of you who have joined us today, come from different religious ideologies. Today's program is not intended to be a religious program. It's intended to be a celebration of life program. So if you do make a comment, the comment we want you to recognize that if you have spiritual thoughts that you want to share, spiritual condolences, that this is not the program to do that. We want you to do that in a personal way and reach out to the individuals and loved ones that you want to give those personal spiritual condolences to them. Again, today is a celebration of life. Well, to get ourselves underway and start our program, we'd like to have the reading of the obituary, and that's going to be done by video presentation from my father's younger brother, Mr. Robert Johnson. And let's now listen to the reading of the obituary.
Spring Hill, Florida. Helene A. Johnson of Spring Hill, Florida, former president and long-serving member of the North Babylon, New York School Board, died on February 24th, 2021 at the age of 86. Her passing was due to post-operative complications after heart surgery. Mrs. Johnson was the first woman and first person of color to lead the school board in North Babylon. She was a member of the board for over 12 years, from 1975 through 1987. Helene Johnson was born at Kings County Hospital in Brooklyn, New York, in 1934, to the parents of Puerto Rican descent. She was placed in adoptive services with the Archdiocese of Brooklyn, where she was given the name Virginia Jureen, a misspelling of her mother's family name of Helene. She was raised as an infant by Helen and John Grady, who were prominent parishioners of the St. Benedict the Moor Church in Jamaica, New York, a parish dedicated to Black Catholics in the borough of Queens. This new parish was led by Father Bernard Quinn, the founder of Little Flower Children and Family Services of New York. While she did have an ongoing relationship with her birth mother, Marie Mary Cardona, formerly known as Helene Martinez, throughout her life, she never met her father, Juan Sereno, during his lifetime. However, she did eventually connect with the paternal side of her father's family, and this reconnection proved to be a significant event later on in her life. The Gradys renamed the infant Helen after her adoptive mother, but everyone in the family called her Tootie. Then, in the 8th grade, she began going by the name Helene Jureen, as she was becoming known in school. And sometimes after that, she gave herself the middle name of Agnes. Helene attended Jamaica High School and loved her years there, and was a standout softball player. But she left one class shy of being able to earn her high school degree. After high school, Helene worked at an ice cream shop, as a department store clerk, and eventually went to work to become a supervisor in the call center for Bell Telephone. It was while working at Bell Telephone that she and her young son, Trey, from her first marriage, met her future husband and the love of her life, Frank Johnson, while he was walking his police beat in her Queens neighborhood. They were married on January 3rd, 1961. Together, they built their first home and moved to North Babylon, Long Island in 1963, where they raised their family for the next 30 years. Helen became very involved in her new community and took on more and more leadership positions. She loved to sing and participated in local community theater, and was also active in the Belmont Lake Civic Association. She was one of the founding members of the Just Friends and Sophisticated Ladies social clubs, and served as president of the Long Island chapter of the Women's International Bowling Congress. She also worked as a bus driver for the Wyandanch School District and as a supervisor in the Reconciliations Department of the Bank of North America while her husband was going through law school. As her own children entered school, she became more involved in the school system, first as an officer of the Parliament Place PTA, and then eventually running for school board. She served on the North Babylon School Board from 1975 to 1987, where she served as president for the last 5 years. She was very proud of her accomplishments, including expanding programs for both gifted students and special needs students. It should be noted that Helen was actually able to complete her own high school degree from Brentwood High School in 1974, before any of her children received their high school degrees. In 1993, Helene and her husband Frank retired to Spring Hill, Florida, where they built their dream home in the community of the Links at Seven Hills. While in Spring Hill, they remained active in the retirement community for many years. With her dedication to the causes of children still a driving force in her life, Helene volunteered both as an educational surrogate and as a guardian ad litem in Hernando County, Florida, where she served as a zealous advocate for children involved in family court proceedings. Helene loved to travel and entertain friends and family. She was an avid reader of crime novels, enjoyed police dramas, was a noted collector of ethnic holiday figurines, and most importantly, a loving wife, mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, sister-in-law, aunt, and cousin to her family, and an active member of St. Mary's Our Lady of Sorrows Roman Catholic Church until her passing. Helen is survived by her children, Francis R. Trey Johnson Jr., wife Maureen, Tony Marie Johnson, Todd C. Johnson, wife Nancy, Terrence Johnson, and her grandchildren, Timothy Johnson, wife Danielle, Terrell Johnson, wife Asia, Tyler Johnson, wife Nina, Torrance Johnson, wife Mikkel, Christina Johnson, Tassim Johnson, Justine Johnson, and Matthew Johnson. Her great-grandchildren, Angelina Johnson, Ava Johnson, Mariah Johnson, Kiera Harper, Andrew Harper, Catalina Johnson. Her in-laws, Moselle Johnson, wife of the late Carl Johnson, Robert Johnson, wife Cecily, and Lenora Tina Johnson. She is predeceased by her husband, Francis R. Johnson Sr. in 2009, and her son, Trevor Johnson, in 2006. She will be sorely missed by all.
We want to thank you, Uncle Bob, for sharing that brief history of Mom with all of us. Thank you so much for your offering to read the obituary for us. During today's program, we're going to attempt to give you a look into my mother's life at various stages in her life. And now we'd like to get a glimpse of her early life. And to do this, we're going to enlist the aid of my cousin, Miss Sharon Dunn. And Sharon, you're muted, so you'll have to hit the unmute button, so we'll be able to hear you. Very good. Well, I want to thank you, Sharon, for agreeing to be interviewed today and give us a bit of perspective in the earlier life of our mother, a life before many of us, her children, even existed, possessing life ourselves, for that matter. So can you tell me what was part of your motivation in agreeing to this interview today?
Yes, I agreed to this interview to help shed light and to bring to life the transformation of a beautiful soul who was your mother, Helene Johnson, or as she was affectionately called by those close to her, Tootie. To help get an even deeper history, I have chosen to get insight from my mom, along with what I was honored to experience myself.
Thank you very much. Again, on behalf of her children, her grandchildren, and friends, I want to thank you for sharing this information today. So speaking of your mom, our Aunt Dolores, as we call her, can you tell us how she and my mom met?
Yeah, a few years prior to my mom marrying into the Dunn Stevens family, she met your mom, and she was 14 and so charming and loving. My mom was instantly gravitated to her. They soon became very close friends, and that friendship bonded them well into their 80s.
Very good. But that's not where the family connection ends, is it?
No. Actually, my mom was dating my dad, who was Tootie's cousin, and they always wanted Tootie to join them. But due to Tootie's strong work ethic, her time was limited. And so she would always try to make time for them.
Okay, the plot thickens a little bit. So was it only because they wanted a chaperone on their dates that your dad, my Uncle Robbie, would ask mom along?
Not exactly. You see, my dad would constantly try to play matchmaker for your mom. He would often try to fix her up with some of his friends. But let's just put it this way. As most of those men tried to step to your mom, you could almost hear the theme song from Sanford and Son playing in the background. They were, for the most part, a very colorful cast of characters.
So how did mom feel about your dad's matchmaking endeavors?
Tootie wasn't having it. In spite of his failed attempts, she enjoyed their time together. She laughed at his desperate attempts to find her a man. That friendship bonded them throughout their lives. This makes me remember something. There was a friend of my father's named Joey Evans, and I happened to love him. He was a very sweet man, and he was in love with Tootie. But I tried desperately to get her to like him, but she just only liked him as a friend. She seemed to get all of these people attracted to her. There was a pharmacist too that my mom talked about that was in love with her, but she only wanted him to be her friend.
Thank you for that information. Now, you shared with me that your mother was able to notice some painful experiences. She said, my mother always tried to put on a brave face, but to the person who was paying attention and who was really observing, they would be able to see that. And your mother did. Could you elaborate on this, please?
Yes. Even at a young age, my mom was struck by Tootie's desire to love others and the need to be loved. She, along with two other girls, were fostered by John and Helen Grady. There came a time when a decision had to be made about which girl would remain in the Grady household. There seemed to be conflict with the Gradys as to who should stay. Uncle John, who was generally a very meek and humble man, never standing up to Aunt Helen, decided it had to be Tootie. He saw the beauty of her spirit and loved her as his own. Although she had the love of Uncle John, she had to deal with the jealousy of her mother, my Aunt Helen. Tootie spent her young life constantly catering to the ills of a jealous mother, never fully getting her approval. If there was any positive to come from this, it was that this only seemed to galvanize Tootie's ability to love unconditionally.
Thank you, and please thank your mother for those insights. But now, would you be so kind as to share some of your personal recollections?
Yeah, I was fortunate to grow up with her love. So if I say Tootie and you say Tootie, I'm the one that started it. So it's Tootie. But as a result of her relationship with my mom, I became her adopted child. She showered me with all of her love. She would refer to me as her living doll. She liked to take me shopping and loved playing any silly games I would conjure up. When she had her own children, she would have me come and spend time with all of you.
Very good. Speaking of which, you told me about a certain adventure in babysitting. Could you tell us more about that?
Sure. Once our cousin Pat and I were given the task to babysit. Your parents took you with them and left Todd with us. While we were in the house, a bee came in. So Pat and I screamed because we were terrified, and we ran outside. And when we got outside, we realized we left Todd in the high chair. So we were like, oh, should we go in? Should we get him? I'm sorry, Todd. And so we took a while, and then we finally did go back into the house. We told Tootie about it, and she laughed, but she never used us as babysitters again. But, you know, right now I can almost hear her laughing in the background. Just thinking about her makes me smile.
Thank you for that laughter. But you said that there wasn't always laughter in Mom's life. There were some unpleasant experiences that my mother had to endure. May we hear a bit about what you knew?
Sure. Sadly, her need to be loved led her into the arms of a few broken relationships, many not worthy of her, and at least one was abusive. Your mom was a strong woman, and those painful experiences heightened her sensitivity for others and contribute to the powerhouse of a woman she became.
Thank you. But back to the happy times, because there were happy times. Can you share some of these?
Yeah. Though many of those early attempts at love had failed her, there came the day that she met the love of her life, her soulmate, your dad, Frank Johnson. My mom remembers the day she met Frank. She swooned and giggled about meeting this tall, dark, and handsome man on New York Boulevard while working at one of her many jobs. We later learned that Frank was just as smitten with her. They started dating immediately and became inseparable. Frank openly expressed his love for Tootie to anyone that would listen. He told my mom that she was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. They later married, and Tootie finally had the family she always wanted.
Thank you for that. In conclusion, Sharon, would you share some lessons that you feel you've learned from having that interaction with my mother, and that you feel is important that we all take away from Mom's life?
Yeah, looking back on her life, I see a woman that suffered many hardships and trauma come full circle. In the end, she found the unconditional love she gave and deserved. She eventually found and was embraced by her biological family, and she nurtured and was loved by her family with Frank. In celebration of her life, we should carry her love and infectious laughter to all that we meet. And I personally want to say thank you, Tootie, for sharing the blueprint for what is important in life. Your courage, commitment to caring for others, and your perseverance to overcome any obstacle has inspired me to be a better person. You can now rest in peace knowing your job on earth was well done. I love you.
Sharon, once again, I want to thank you for those heartfelt expressions. Again, giving us that earlier glimpse into Mom's life, and we appreciate that. Again, some of the things that we didn't know before, that you were able to fill in some of those blanks. So we want to move on into Mom's life now. Sharon brings us to the point where she's met my dad, Frank Johnson, and now to give us a glimpse into the early years as a member of the Johnson family, we're going to enjoy a video presentation from Dad's baby sister, my Aunt Tina. Now, at the beginning of the video, you're going to hear some Caribbean music, and you're going to see Aunt Tina at the beach. That's a little bit difficult on the volume to hear. I'll just let you know that what Tina says, if you can't hear it, is that dedication of the beach and Caribbean music was dedicated to Mom's love of the Caribbean lifestyle and music. But then Tina will go into her home, and I think you'll be able to hear her from that point on. At this point, we now ask our audiovisual team to display on Tina's video. Miss Tina Johnson, Lenora Tina Johnson.
Johnson, Helen's sister-in-law. When my brother Frank brought Helen home to meet the family, she had a genuine smile, was sweet, warm, and kind. I took to her instantly, but what was more special was Helen came bearing a gift. This present was her son Trey. I would no longer be the baby of the family. Finally, I had someone that I could tell what to do. Someone I could play with and be a big sister to. Knowing my brother and how warm and caring he was, I would not think he would bring home anyone with less caring and warm qualities. My brother and Helen complimented each other. We all, an emphasis on all, immediately welcomed and fell in love with Helen. I always saw Helen as someone willing to help in any way she could, willing to offer support and comfort when needed. Now, I did not have one sister. I was fortunate to have two. Approximately 2 years later, Frank and Helen bought a house and moved to Long Island. As a teenager, I cannot remember a summer that I did not spend with them and the kids. And that says a lot for a teenager. I remember when Helen and Frank took up bowling. I thought the name of their team, Just Friends, was the coolest name I have ever heard for a team. Even my son Alan began spending time with his cousins. You were always welcomed. Helen had a great sense of humor, which is another reason why I enjoyed being around her. With this wonderful sense of humor and intelligence, Helen had an extraordinary quick wit. She kept it real, and along with that came sensitivity and strength. Last winter, I told Helen that Alan and I were saving to take a trip to visit her, and we were bringing the kids. She was ecstatic. You know Helen. She immediately said, I have room here, and began planning the arrangements. However, just like with most everyone else's travel plans, COVID put a stop to that. Anything involving a showdown or the need to get your point across, Helen was the person to have on your side. You knew most likely that the outcome would be in your favor. Helen always, without a doubt, had your back. If you know Helen, you know I speak with truth. She calls it like it is. Helen does not mince any words. When Frank and Helen had the house built in Florida and I went to visit for the first time, I brought back pictures of their home to show my friends. I was so proud of the home they had built. My true friends were amazed and in awe. The built-in pool with the beautiful lanai, the kitchen, the beautiful great room, and the exquisite facade. Then there were others, with envy, who refused to believe that my brother built such a beautiful home, giving me incredulous looks as they looked at the pictures. Have you seen Helen drive? Hands down, Helen could drive a car. She could have been the first female race car driver. Helen and Frank came to help me move. If I'm not mistaken, people will go through great lengths to get out and helping you move. They have prior commitments. I'm a klutz. I don't want to break anything. Not Helen and Frank. They drove from Long Island to South Jersey, 200 miles to move me. This is them. How they were, how they rolled. Always supportive. I was returning the U-Haul truck, which Helen was driving because there is no way I could handle a U-Haul truck. I was driving my car, leading the way, and as I approached the intersection, the green light quickly turned yellow and then instantly red. It was a terribly busy and dangerous intersection, and I had been in that position plenty of times, and the opposing traffic does not give a damn. There was nowhere for me to pull over once I completed my turn to wait for Helen if she got caught by the red light. My other fear was if Helen did take that turn, the angry opposing drivers would step on the gas without any hesitation. I looked in my rearview mirror and Helen was dead on my ass, 3 inches off of my rear. She was on me like white on rice, like coal on ice. I could see in her face she was saying, "Go, girl, I got this." With that look, I put my foot to the pedal and the turn was completed in unison like we were on the Indy racetrack. I was so ecstatic, I began pumping my fist in the air. Helen was unselfish, truly kind, and her affection strong. Her heart was magnanimous and compassionate. Helen would go to battle for you. I know, because she went to battle for me plenty of times. Mark my word, Helen can stand toe to toe to anyone. You better believe you're going to come out on the better end. I am grateful that in the last few months I spoke to Helen frequently. Love you, my sister, my friend. You meant so much to me. I will deeply miss you.
Helen, we love you and we will miss you dearly. Love you, Helen.
I want to thank you, Aunt Tina, for that wonderful information. We want to thank you, Aunt Tina, for that wonderful information. We appreciate that very much. And yeah, we as Johnson children can attest to Mom's driving skills, especially being in the back seat of our family station wagon. We took many a corner on two wheels many times when Mom was getting us there on time. So we understand. We appreciate that. So now we have gotten Mom from her early life into her new family. We know that she struggled with an adoptive mother's jealousy. She struggled even with a failed marriage. But then she found the love of her life, and she found this loving Johnson family to go with many of the cousins and aunts who loved her dearly from her adoptive family. But there was still something missing. And that was finding her roots, her biological family. And to give us a glimpse into some of the journey that was entailed with that, I now present to you my brother, Todd Johnson, as he'll tell us some of those accountings.
You're live, Uncle Todd.
Make sure we unmute Uncle Todd so he can speak. Give him permission to unmute.
He's not connected to audio. You got to get his audio connected. There should be a join audio button on the bottom of your screen, Uncle Todd.
All right. Yeah, sorry, Nancy has control of the audio here. That was a problem. All right. So I just want to tell you a little story about my mother making a trip back to try to find her roots. As Trey had said, you heard some allusions to this early on. Back in, I believe it was 1997, my mom called me up and invited me to join her on a trip to Puerto Rico, where she was actually going to try to make it to Culebra and Vieques, where her family was reportedly from. She had connected with some cousins from her birth mother's side of the family and decided to make that trip. I went down. It was a beautiful day. We left the ferry from Fajardo to Culebra, and I said to her on the way over the hour-long trip, I said, "Mom, so what are we going to do when we get there?" And she looked at me. She looked up at me with these sheepish eyes and said, "I don't know. I actually have no idea." And I realized there was actually no plan that day. We made it over, and as everybody else off the ferry went to their destinations, within 5 minutes, the three of us, Dad, Mom, and myself, were there on the ferry dock, trying to figure out what we wanted to do. Well, we actually did make a connection. It's a long story, but I'll shorten it here. We actually went down to the rental company. They were out of cars by the time we got there, but they arranged for a local to drive us around. And before they did, if anybody saw the video montage, is a picture of mom standing next to a woman who was actually a distant cousin and the first family member that she met on Culebra, the first person who actually in her family looked like her. And so it was a very poignant moment. But the timing was bad. We didn't make the connection that we were hoping for. The whole family that she was looking for actually were in St. Croix on the other islands of the Virgin Islands. But as it happened, I ended up meeting a young lady named Nancy who would become my wife. And before we got married, her family made a trip to Puerto Rico. And while we were there, we took a day trip and Nancy and I went over. And we went to rent a car. It was a stick. I didn't drive stick, so Nancy had to drive us around. And we actually pulled up to the old house that I remembered that had been boarded up. And we got out and we met Fita, mom's mother. And Fita's sister, I'm sorry, my mom's sister. And Fita said, she goes, you know, I got a letter from your mother and she said she was coming, but she never came. And she would open the door. She was actually making pasteles right from leaves right out of her garden there. And it was really amazing to make that connection. We actually got together. I think Trey even arranged for a phone call for her to talk to her. And that bond ended up being a real bond. My mother was totally welcomed into the family from our side. And it was a connection that we always cherished.
Thank you, Todd, for helping us to get that glimpse into the situation as well. We greatly appreciate that. And I'm ashamed that my brother can't drive a stick. But anyway, at this time, we're now going to learn more about her connection with her biological family in Puerto Rico. And to do that, we're going to have another interview. And this is going to be an interview of my cousin, Tama Lindquist. And so we asked that if we could have Tama join us at this time for the interview. Is Tama going to be spotlighted? Because I don't see her yet. There we go. Well, Tama, as I let everybody know, you are my cousin Tama, the daughter of Angel, one of the sons of Mommy's long lost sister, Josefa, who the family calls Fita. And we know that they reconnected about the end of 2001, early 2002. So Tama, can you share with us your recollection of how you and the family felt when you first met your long lost auntie?
Yes, well, it was about 2003 when I met my great aunt Helene Johnson. We were attending the funeral in Culebra of her newly found sister and my grandmother, Josefa Serrano. She was with her son, Todd, and we were very excited to have them with us. So there was a woman who looked just like my grandmother, such a strong family resemblance of the Serrano family. The resemblance was so strong that coming off the ferry of my grandmother's funeral, this lady, one of our cousins, she actually came running down the street saying, she looks like my mother, she looks like my mother, she looks like my mother. So it was something to be reckoned with.
Thank you. So was it an emotional reunion?
Absolutely. This same cousin who came running down the street to tell us of, my aunt's arrival now ran up to Auntie Helen and right there gave a big hug and a kiss where she was standing. She started stating in Spanish, mi familia, mi familia. And quite a few of us broke down right there with her. I was fortunate enough to have taken a picture of it, actually, what was taking place.
It sounds like such a poignant reunion. Did you get the opportunity to expand your relationship with your newfound auntie?
Yes. In 2004, I moved from Miami to Orlando. My dad, Angel, aka Macho, would always visit us. Knowing that he had a newly found auntie, he was enthusiastic about, being around her and getting to know her better. So there it was, it started. We would travel from Orlando to Spring Hill to spend time with Auntie, spending a lot of time with her, Tony, TJ, Justine, Matthew, just a few of us. We always had a lot of fun together.
Very good. So now you shared that your daughter Precious really hit it off with Mom. Could you please tell us more about that?
Sure. My Aunt Helen and my daughter Precious had a particularly strong and close relationship. It was something that no one else could come between. Auntie Helen went on quite a few road trips with us, the girls and I, and we had a blast on each and every one of those trips. She made sure that she was with us when Precious ran track in school, when Precious went to college, when Precious ran cross country, and even when she got married. My daughter Precious actually and Auntie had such a beautiful relationship. Auntie loved her with such a beautiful energy, and she loved Auntie with that same energy. Sometimes she would call, and Precious would call Auntie from my phone, and Auntie, thinking it would be me, would say, "Hey, Tama," and Precious would say, "No, Auntie, this is Precious," and Auntie would say, "Precious." So Precious states that that she could just hear your mother's laughter and could almost see the smile on her face just coming through the phone.
Very good. Tama, like so many of us, losing Mommy has been a very hard blow. So I ask you, how is Precious taking it?
Precious is taking it very, very hard. Basically, and more so because she's so far away. Precious is now stationed in Germany, but she was coming home this year actually, and she definitely wanted to spend more time with Auntie. She made me make a promise to her on Valentine's Day to wish Auntie a happy Valentine's, but we didn't know that she was in the hospital at that time. She was absolutely heartbroken by the news of Auntie passing. And she wants all of us to know that she will really miss her Auntie, and that Auntie brought a lot of light into her world.
Well, thank you, and please thank her for her beautiful thoughts and expressions. You also wanted to share some of Mommy's niece, your Auntie Leela, her comments. Can you tell us some of her thoughts that she shared with you?
Sure. Auntie Lila wanted us all to know that she wanted to thank Auntie Helen for seeking out her biological family first and foremost. She states that it sure has been an emotional roller coaster for, it was, surely a roller coaster for your mom emotionally. And that she wanted us to all know and thank Auntie Helen for all of her laugh and laughter, all of the cooked meals that they had together, all of the conversations that were full of laughter and the warmth, and for allowing us, the family, to get to meet and come to know Uncle Frank, as he was such a kind man. She also wants us to all know, and her and the family, that we will all miss them both very dearly.
Thank you, and please pass on your thanks to Auntie Leela. I know she's listening and she can hear me, but maybe when you talk with her, you just reemphasize that.
Yeah.
Finally, Tama, how are you doing?
I am actually just still refusing to believe that she's gone, and will continue to be just a little bit selfish and ask why. Auntie, you will forever be in our hearts and our minds until we meet again. I know that there's a lot that I'm leaving out because we've had so many memories with her, but we are very thankful to have had her in our lives, and we'll continue to have the best memories of her. So thank you all for sharing her with us. We love you all. Auntie, I love you more. Te amo.
Thank you so much. Well, now we're going to go to the opportunity where we have comments coming from others. I hope that Zoom lesson that I taught you at the beginning on how to raise hands is going to come into play now. Before we do that, let me just check with audio visual. Audio visual, can you let me know, were we able to iron out the video problems we were having earlier, or is it able to be presented or not?
No, still can't get that one to start.
Okay, gotcha. So again, we're going to first open it to family predominantly, as we now have an open forum. If you'd like to tell an experience, a thought, a remembrance of mommy, grandma, auntie, if you could be so kind to try to tap your screen, find the 3 dots, hit the 3 dots, and then hit raise hand. If you'd like to give a comment, now would be the time to do that. Well, I know Uncle Bob said he was going to have some comments with us. Uncle Bob, if you're ready, I'd like you to be first up.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, everybody. This is truly a celebration of life. I'm hearing so many great stories. And let me just say, my name, just to reintroduce myself, is Robert Johnson. And in 1961, when Helene married my oldest brother, Frank Johnson, I became her brother-in-law. And at 15, I became an uncle, which was the coolest thing I thought about, because I was an uncle at 15. I didn't think, wow, you can't get any better than that. And from that day forward, Helene became a 200% West Indian Johnson. And our always motto is family first. And she totally was committed to that before she got to the Johnson family and within the Johnson family on that part. So we were blessed to have her. Helen always had a warm smile, a wise word, a fierce commitment to her husband, Frank, and her children. I will always remember how warm and special she made my brother feel. It was just her way. We sort of called it the Helene touch. There was never a day when I did not feel her warmth, caring, and how can I help you? Thank you, Helen, for coming into the Johnson family and bringing your special love to my brother, your children, and the entire extended Johnson family. We all love you and will continue to love you for all of our days. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Uncle Bob, for those wonderful, heartfelt expressions. We were hoping to have had a video from my brother, Terrence Johnson. We're offering our apologies that we haven't been able to display that. I believe TJ might have joined us. If so, TJ, are you able to tell us some of your comments?
The inscription,
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing?
We're good.
Yeah. I just see I'm here at work in Joplin, Missouri. Here, let me move. And it's a good day and a bad day. The good thing about it is that she got to live till 86. The bad part about that is we lost our mother. Uncles lost their sister-in-law, grandchildren lost their grandmother. But in that time, she has shown them a lot of love, a lot of affection, and a lot of elderly learning from her experience in life. As you know, my mother had a tough childhood, but she overcame that. The good thing is mom didn't give up. Mom was tough. Mom was a fighter. Mom told us not to give up. Always stick out for one another. That said, family comes first. Everybody else comes second. There are a lot of times mom did a lot of stuff for us, like all the boys played football. We played Little League. We went to the games. Mom was there cheering us on, getting, telling us a lot of support. Mom was a bus driver. And unfortunately, some of y'all didn't get to see mom drive that bus. Mom could drive that bus. Those of you who are from New York and know how the city of Queens is, it's very tight, very tight. And to get a school bus in there and driving with a stick shift, not an automatic, I thought was amazing. How I had to this woman drive this bus in this area and do all that. At one point, mom had 3 jobs. I've gotten older and looked back upon, there were 5 of us. And at one point, there was my grandfather there. And I could not realize how my parents did it. Pay the mortgage, take care of the cars, feed us, clothe us. You know, got to a point where us as children were so bad, they had to rent TVs. We tore up some TVs. You know, the hard part is for me, when I came back off the road, she was there to greet me. And this time, and that was a difficult time. To not have her there, get a hug. That is the hardest part. You know, it's hard to lose your dad, you know, the king of the house, the man of the house, the man doing things for you, but mom, give you love, give you affection. Hey, ma, what's for dinner? Hey, ma, what you cooking? I can't say those things no more. My mother was very lucky. She was a single mother, raising my older brother. And luckily, she found this wonderful man. I was talking to his sister, Auntina, and I was telling her, my mother could not have gotten a better guy. Every girl wants a guy like that. Respectful, well-rounded, smart, intelligent, wasn't cocky, knew his place. The biggest thing about my mother is she taught her first son, as a child, and later on taught the rest of us how to act, how to say yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. But we got to talk to, you know, my brothers remember before we went in the store, we got that little talk. Don't ask for nothing. You ain't gonna get nothing. And most of all, don't touch nothing. And we knew not to do that. Otherwise, that mom look, every mom has it. Get that look. You know, either you stop or you're about to get in trouble. But most of all, it's the love she had for us. And I have two parents. I was saying to somebody, as a Black child growing up in a two-parent home, I was lucky. Me and my brothers and sisters grew up in a great neighborhood. Everybody's parents got up, went to work. We had a great neighborhood. We had a state park right next to us. We can go fishing. So my parents were the spot we grew up in. My mother and father showed love for one another. My mother would talk about going out. My parents used to bowl, and they were hell of a bowlers. And if you came to visit the house back in the day, you saw all those trophies that they got in the dining room. And they used to go out with their friends. And my mother really didn't realize how lucky she was. She went out with her friends, and all her friends' husbands used to put down their wives, but not my dad. So every now and then she would get a little taste of, wow, I'm lucky to have this guy. He's taken me, my son, into his life. He's even given my son his name with the love and affection. My mother was also lucky, like my Uncle Bob said, to get that family, to get a great mother-in-law to show her how a mother's supposed to, and what love is like from a mother. And her father-in-law, oh my God, that man was even more awesome. So as kids, we were lucky. At one point, my grandmother told my mother, if you haven't shown your children anything, you showed your children love. So my mother was very lucky to get my father and his family. So it's going to be difficult for a while to not have her around. My mom can be tough, but she can be sweet just as much. So whatever she wanted to give you, she would give you. She did anything for her grandchildren. Don't lie, don't waste. They need to try to reach your full potential, reach your goal. Look back upon them. My parents went through some rough times. I don't have to go back that far to, see how racism affected my family, affected my mother, it affected my father. But they overcame that. They were better than that.
Well, TJ, I don't know if you can hear me, but I think we lost our connection with you. But certainly what we got to hear from you during your comments, we appreciate so very much your heartfelt expressions. Well, at this time, if there are any additional comments before we move on in our program, please raise your hand. If you're having trouble raising that digital hand, and again, this is only open to those in the Zoom room, we'll try to get you to raise your physical hand. Right now, we see our cousin Carla Johnson who'd like to share some comments. Let's give our attention to Carla.
There we go. Hello, everyone. This is Carla, the aunt, and with my mother, Moselle. Mom wanted me to pass on that how much she loved Aunt Helene, and how much Dad also loved her. And I just wanted to say and pass on that I remember how kind Aunt Helen was, telling me stories about my grandma. He telling me about my grandmother, who some of you might not know, passed on when I was still just a baby, and just was able to tell me all the stories that I would miss since I didn't know her. But Aunt Helen today just keep reminding me how much, remind me why family is important. And that is because of the love that is shared with each other, that's shown between each other. And I can see that, and how I know we are going to be showing love to Terrence, privately sending him messages of hope and togetherness, and to all of each other, showing that we love him. So that's the message I have for us and for the Johnson family down here in New Georgia. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Aunt Moselle. Thank you, Cousin Carla. So good to see you. So nice to be with you today on a very sad occasion, but we love you dearly. We also have comments from Mommy's granddaughter, Justine Johnson.
Hi. Just wanted to share something that I wrote. I wasn't sure if I was going to talk or not. Like many of you, or a few of you maybe, Grandma was the first person, one of the first people to love me and for me to love her. And I am so loyal to her. And if you were loved by her, you would know it. You would definitely know it from how she answered the phone, or from how she answered the door. It was usually hi, honey, followed by pleasantries and on and on and on. Everything about her was big, from her big plump hands squishing you, or her big plump hugs, or her big smiles, or her big frowns. It was big, it was warm, and it was just a little bit more colorful. For me, her and Poppy felt like one of the first people that were truly invested in what I wanted to do. They were also my first real example of a lived out, loved union. And I'm still so thankful for them for having that, and for me being able to experience it. But it also meant that you learned lessons. You learned how to ride a bike. You learned not to respond with what to adults. You learned that you were going to eat every single vegetable that was on your plate, and we were going to wait quite a bit if you did not. Not sorry about it. My grandmother was a grand example. Any person who would have survived the life that she lived deserves their flowers. The impact of her loss has affected us all in ways that we feel right now, but it will also impact us in ways that we have no idea going forward. So to close, I'll just say, okay, honey, I'll talk to you later. Love you more. Thank you.
Thank you, Justine, very much for those heartfelt expressions. Well, we're winding down with time. So again, if you're having trouble with the digital hand, audio, visual, I need your help. Do you see any physical hands? If you do, can you let me know? If not, we will move on with our program. Can you give me a...
Todd's got his hand up, and Nina as well.
Okay. All right. So that's going to be our final comments for now. We'll see if we can do anything later. We see Matthew Johnson as well. So Todd, Nina, Matthew. Okay. So we'll hear from, who do we have up now? From my brother Todd. Again, Nancy's controlling your sound. She's still controlling it.
Perhaps do Matthew first and then come back to Uncle Todd when he's done.
All right, well, maybe we'll go to Matthew and we'll come back to Todd to hear that comment. This is Mommy's grandson, Justine's brother, Matthew.
You get
What does it say?
It says mute me or unmute me. And
Where's unmute?
I already clicked it.
Okay.
We can hear you.
We can hear you, Matthew.
Okay.
Sorry, I was helping him.
Sorry, guys. I don't know how this thing works. I wasn't here from the very beginning.
Not a problem. Go right ahead, Matthew. We can hear you now. Go ahead.
I know my grandmother. She had her ups and she had her down, and she definitely and her papa would definitely not let me leave the table because I was so stubborn as a kid. I may watch Papa eating spinach, but hell, I did not like the one you get from the can or the frozen. I only like the leafy one. And if I did not eat it, I would not spit out because I knew I would not leave that table.
Very good.
I have good memories of my grandmother. She was a loving grandmother, and I had a loving grandfather. And boy, did they have tough love. But they were sweet nonetheless. They gave me a loving father, and that's how me and Justine were created. I remember when we would go to the little zoo in Spring Hill. I would be, as a kid, I didn't know anything about manatees. I thought they eat people. Because I was a kid back then. I didn't know. And then I figured out later that they eat leaves. I was too stupid to get on that deck and see the manatees. When me and Justine would argue, they would try, or when I was sad, Poppy and Grandma would cheer me up. And you could hear Poppy scream, "Helen! Helen!" And then Grandma was like, "Frank! Frank!" It was just hilarious. Grandma, I would always love Grandma.
Well, Matthew, we thank you very much for your kind expression.
I'm like,
No, don't talk too long.
Very good. Now we want to see if Uncle Todd is ready again. Going back to my brother Todd, we're not certain.
I was just pointing out that Matthew wanted to speak. Thank you.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. And then our final comment we're going to entertain at this juncture in the program is from my daughter-in-law, Grandma's grandson Tyler's wife, Nina Johnson. Nina, you muted?
It was actually Angelina raising her hand, so I'm going to let her go first.
A great-granddaughter, Angelina.
Well, I just wanted to say that I was always so happy when we heard we were going to Gigi's house because she was just so welcoming and nice, and she'd be like, "Hey," and I feel like she was the only one to just get me to do anything because I was just so picky, but she was always just so like patient, and she's the only person who, because I don't like potatoes, but she's the only person to get me to eat potatoes. I don't know how she did it, but she just always got me to. And I remember just her always talking about different life stories and me just always listening so intently because her life was interesting and all the cool stuff she had in her room. And I still have stuff she gave me from, because they're always just like cool, or something I appreciated. And I just wanted to share that Gigi was just always someone precious and important and just so sweet and someone I always just look forward to seeing.
Thank you, Angelina.
And I just want to add, I'm only about 11 years married into being a Johnson, but definitely Gigi was one of my favorite Johnsons. I appreciate the love and the impact that she had on the whole Johnson family. She was always so welcoming and so warm to me, and the impact she had on you guys, the Johnsons that I get to associate with closely, you and Todd and all my brother-in-laws, they are so warm and inviting, and there's no doubt that that comes from her.
Thank you so much. Well, good to see all of you. We thank you very much. At this point, we're going to have to move on. Time dictates that we do. If we didn't get your expressions yet, we'll show you how we can do that later on in the program. A wise writer once penned that if one has found a capable wife, one has found a good thing. And all you have to do is ask my father, Frank Johnson. He will tell you indeed how happy and blessed he was to have found his good thing. As we've discussed this afternoon, and for some of you on the West Coast this morning into the afternoon, my mother, Helene Johnson, was indeed a most capable woman. Mommy was born, as we discussed, to Juan Serrano and Marie Martinez. Marie herself just a mere child when she found herself with child, and thus Mommy would be adopted and raised by John and Helen Grady. Mommy was a bona fide daddy's girl, and she adored her daddy, John. Many have attested to Mommy being an extremely industrious woman. At the tender age of 14, she landed her first job at an ice cream parlor. Soon thereafter, there was a job at a local department store. And though she excelled in her education at Jamaica High School in Queens, New York, for reasons unknown to the family, she chose to discontinue her education and to not complete her high school degree. This may have had something to do with her landing a dream job with the Bell Telephone Company, now known as AT&T, as she rose to the position of supervisor. At the age of 22, Mother married her first husband, Mr. Robert Powell Hairston Jr. This union produced Mother's firstborn son, Robert Powell Hairston III, but family affectionately refers to me as Trey. This marriage was short-lived and soon ended due to irreconcilable differences. Then in 1960, my mother met the love of her life, Mr. Francis Johnson, Frank, or Chubby, as his brothers and sisters affectionately referred to him. Mother tells me that Frank first fell in love with me and then fell in love with her. And she would always thank me for bringing this beautiful man into her life. On January 3rd, 1961, they were wed. And then when I turned 6, Dad pursued a legal adoption of myself. And on my 7th birthday, my name was officially changed to Francis Johnson. Dad was Francis Ronald Johnson, and now I was Francis Ronald Johnson. But seeing that Daddy's father, Papa Johnson, was Francis Alexander Johnson, I was still the third Francis, and thus the family nickname of Trey, which comes from the Spanish word three, stuck. Soon Dad and Mom were able to purchase their newly built home in North Babylon, New York. And for the next 30 plus years, they raised their family in what our New York borough relatives would refer to as the country. And Dad would continue to make the approximate 1-hour journey each way, back and forth, to his job as a New York City police officer each day. Dad was an extremely intelligent man. And soon, with Mommy's encouragement and support, Dad was completing his associate's degree, his bachelor's degree, and then finally his law degree, all while working full-time for the NYPD. Upon retiring from the New York City Police Department as a detective, Dad landed the job as a deputy attorney general for the state of New York. I remember one time when the bills were tight, when Dad was feeling that he was missing out on so much time with the family, from his full-time job as a New York City cop to night school to study sessions. He actually contemplated quitting law school. And from a loving conversation in their king-size bed, Mommy grabbed a pencil and she wrote a date on the wall at the head of the bed. Daddy said, "What is that?" And she said to him, "That is the date that you will graduate. And that is the date that all of these sacrifices will have been worth it." And as we already know, with her loving support, Dad did stick it out. And yes, he did indeed graduate. As a postscript to that conversation, Mommy later had her bedroom freshly painted, but she made sure that the painters painted around that date so that date stayed on their bedroom wall. Today, many young people with an entrepreneurial spirit talk about this thing called a side hustle. In other words, it's getting all kinds of part-time jobs so that you have different sources of revenue coming to you. Well, let me let you know that my mother, the mother of 5, in her efforts to help support my dad, well, let's just put it this way. Helene Johnson was one of the original founding mothers of the side hustle. Mom worked as a school bus driver, and then she would buy pantsuits at wholesale and resell them to friends, many times while engaging in her favorite pastime at the bowling alley. She would do dog enumerations. She distributed telephone books. She sold Thanksgiving turkey raffle tickets, because the one who sold the most tickets also got a Thanksgiving turkey herself. And you best believe that year after year, that turkey somehow made its way to our dinner table. At one point, my mother bought 50 live chickens at pennies a chicken to resell to neighbors and to save on the feeding budget of her large family. And you can ask any one of my siblings or myself of the nightmares we still have to this day of butchering all those chickens, boiling them and plucking them without any prior farming experience. But the point is this: Mother was resourceful. She was industrious. She dedicated her life to supporting her husband's goals and nurturing and nourishing her family, even on a modest income, which was what our family had in those early years. But these resourceful qualities were not just bestowed on us as the family members. Mother was indeed interested in becoming part of the village that cared for others. And as such, she volunteered for the PTA and soon became its president, for the North Babylon Civic Association and soon became its president, for the Suffolk County Women's Bowling Association and soon became its president, and many, many more associations were the beneficiaries of her loving labors. But by far, her most cherished accomplishment was running for and being seated on the North Babylon Public School District's Board of Education. And yep, you guessed it, she soon became its president. As such, the majority of my siblings had the distinct privilege of receiving their high school diploma handed to them by our very own mother as they walked across the graduation stage. Like all of her past affiliations, when she joined the school board and all these other associations, she didn't do it, and eventually leading them, she didn't do it out of a personal ego, but she always was concerned about becoming an advocate and a champion to whom may otherwise have been disenfranchised. When my mother, or if ever my mother, would hear of a segment of the student population being unfairly treated, you better believe that there was a telephone call being placed to that school's principal. And let's just put it this way: there was more than one of those principals whose undergarments tinted just a little bit yellow when they were the recipient of one of those concerned Helene Johnson communications. In addition to these accolades, Mother worked for the Bank of North America in Garden City, New York, rising to the level of supervisor of the Audit and Reconciliation Department. And remember, she did this without having completed her high school education, but Mother possessed a brilliant mind. However, when she started to recognize that her eldest son would soon become a high school graduate, she decided that she wanted to set an example for all of her children. And so she went back to adult night school and earned her high school diploma. Yes, as my father, Frank Johnson, came to realize many, many years ago, my mother, Helene Johnson, was indeed a very capable woman. In many respects, you could say that she was a remarkable woman. Now, the accounts I've shared with you today just barely scratch the surface of the achievements and qualities my mother possessed. Still, again, I hope that you were able to recognize by this brief glimpse into her life the fact that my mother used her life to assist and advance the causes and concerns of others in need. And I know that that would be the legacy she would want you to endeavor to carry on. All too often in the world in which we live, it is eclipsed by a greedy, self-serving, me-first attitude. But my mother showed time and time again about the importance of expending oneself for the welfare of others. Additionally, in a world where the breakdown and breakups of the family sadly have become a commonplace, Mother's love and support of her family serves as a high bar for others to endeavor to aspire to. And if I can tell you nothing else with absolute certainty and conviction today, that is that my mother positively respected and loved her husband, and he adored her. Don't get me wrong, they were not perfect. There were arguments, most of these behind closed doors, not in front of us children. There were days when the temperature in the house was a little bit chilly because there was some serious cold shoulders going on there. But these disputes were always resolved with respect and love and put aside quickly. So again, in a world where separation and divorce have become all too commonplace, when things get tough in your own families, I earnestly hope that the respectful example of women like my mother and the loving example of men like my father may be recalled to mind, and that you will put in the work to make your relationships work. I and my siblings were indeed blessed to be raised by such a loving couple, such a loving mother. As previously stated, they truly raised the bar quite high for us to follow. I know I'm not perfect, but I hope when times are tough that I can draw on my mother's resilient example to make sure that I push through adversity to better myself and to work for the betterment of others. And now that I've given you a glimpse into the type of woman she was, I sincerely hope that you may call to mind her example to motivate yourself to rise above your own personal challenges and to become a champion for the welfare of others. If you're in our Zoom room, you may have noticed, or even if you saw some of the individuals come across the screen, you may have noticed the colors yellow, black, and white. This is actually a tribute to a favorite flower of Mother's, that is the yellow rose. And it has to do with a special account in her life toward the waning days of my father's life. To tell you more about this and to read an original poem about the event, I now once again give your attention to my brother Todd Johnson.
Hello, everyone. I am Todd Johnson, and just to go back just a moment. Trey, it was actually 100 chickens. And I know this because they visit me in my sleep sometimes. And you were not the only one embarrassed about me not knowing how to drive a stick. That's why when we got back, Nancy gave me lessons and I can drive a stick now. But to get to the point right now, the poem I'm about to read, I read at my father's passing, but it's just as relevant now, and even more so, because it talks about my father's love for my mother and his inability to, at that point late in his life, be able to express it. You know, I've always admired my father, and as the son who is very often most compared to him, you know, my mother used to say, I don't know that I had anything to do with you. I think your father just spit you out. And of course, I took it as a compliment every time. But make no mistake, I am my mother's son. Now, this poem was inspired by an exchange between my parents where sometimes later on, my father would not always use the right word. And, you know, it was a little bit frustrating for them to be able to communicate. So my mother always had to make sure, are you sure you're asking for what you're asking for? And sometimes it was unclear, but sometimes he was crystal clear about what he wanted, you know. And I would say that this poem still stands as a fitting tribute to sometimes our inability to express ourselves and express our loves on point and on time and when we want to, but there's an intention in our hearts. Even if we don't have the right words for it, if we can't express it, there's a feeling that we want to convey. So I'm going to read to you a poem called I Want a Yellow Rose. I want a rose. Like the warm butter on my breakfast toast each day. Our mornings always start that way. Reminds me of the things we'd say when you were with a younger guy who came through a door and caught your eye, and then your heart. We promised that we'd always stay, and we've never been apart. I want a rose. Like a fresh lemon, its tart juice used for lemonade, refreshing as the summer shade or a memory before it can fade. Not the dim light when the clouds may cover, or the darkest night when the day is over and we're left alone, but the midday light when a memory's made and we enjoy each sense we own. I want a rose. Like the hot sun shining through the summer haze with everlasting golden rays that sparkle like our yesterdays. It has something to do with me and you. There is something I promise you I do with every breath, to hold dear and protect in endless ways, so it never has a death. You ask me why, and I try, and I try. The perfect words are hard to find. While a million reasons are in my mind, I think that it would help me though. It's something you must already know. Now it's something that I need to say. The thing I remember every day. I think one yellow rose will do to help you remember that I love you. From your hand to my hand and back to you, so I know that you know it still holds true. From my heart to your heart, a gift that's due. I ask for, then offer this rose to you. I want a yellow rose. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd, very much. Just to dovetail to Todd's expression, Daddy in his later years was suffering from vascular dementia. Daddy had diabetes. And sometimes you hear about diabetics losing toes because the blood circulation doesn't go correct. I remember the day that the doctor told me that your dad is losing blood flow to his brain. And it just blew me away. I never knew. I remember Daddy sneaking treats like hot cross buns that was sweet and sticky. And We knew he wasn't supposed to eat them because of his diabetes, never thinking of the effect it was going to have, never knowing, fully understanding. It was something we would just tee-hee-hee at. But in those later years, the doctor's prediction proved true. The blood flow to his brain started to take away this once articulate, brilliant man who had many oratory arguments as a lawyer for the state of New York, and he wasn't able to express himself like he once could. And he was the one who asked Mommy to get that rose for him. And you saw that loving sentiment in Todd's poem. Again, Todd, thank you. It was such a beautiful expression. We're not quite to the close of our program, but we're almost there. And at this point in the program, what we're going to do is before we have our closing remarks, we've seen one video montage, if you've been here early, of her life, chronicling her life. But now we want to talk about something that was dear to my mother, and that's the family that, as you see, she loved and impacted. In the video to follow, you'll see not only my mother, but you'll be introduced to many of those loved ones who are so dear to her as you watch the video. We hope you enjoy now as we play this video tribute to my mother and those who she loved and were impacted by her life.
Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the plans they made put an end to you. I walked out this morning and I wrote down this song. I just can't remember who to send it to. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you again. Won't you look down upon me, Jesus? You gotta help me make a stand. Just got to see me through another day. My body's aching and my time is at hand. I won't make it any other way. Whoa, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. Seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you again. Been walking my mind to an easy time, my back turned towards the sun. Lord knows when the cold wind blows, it'll turn your head around. Well, there's hours of time on the telephone line to talk about things to come. Sweet dreams and flying machines in pieces on the ground. Whoa, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you, baby, one more time again now. Thought I'd see you one more time again. There's just a few things coming my way this time around now. Thought I'd see you, thought I'd see you. way up high, and the dreams that you dream of once in a lullaby. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Dreams that you dream of, dreams really do come true. Ooh, someday wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, and the dream that you dare to, oh why can't I? Well, I see trees of Greenland, red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Well, I see skies of blue, and I see clouds of white, and the brightness of day. I like the dark, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, singing, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I hear babies cry, and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like a lemon drops, high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, and the dreams that you dare to, why, oh, why can't I?
So far away, doesn't anybody stay in one place anymore? It would be so fine to see your face at my door. It doesn't help to know you're just time away. Long ago I reached for you, and there you stood. Holding you again could only do me good. How but you're so far away. One more song about moving along the highway. Can't say much of anything that's new. If I could only work this life out my way, I'd rather spend it being close to you, but you're so far away. Doesn't anybody stay in one place anymore? It would be so fine to see your face at my door. Doesn't help to know you're so far away. Yeah, you're so far away. Traveling around sure gets me down and lonely. Nothing else to do but close my mind. I sure hope the road don't come to own me. There's so many dreams I've yet to find, but you're so far away. Doesn't anybody stay in one place anymore? It would be so fine to see your face at my door, and it doesn't help to know you're so far away. Yeah, you're so far away. Hey, you're so far away.
Now brings us to our closing of our program. And again, on behalf of the entire Johnson family, we'd like to extend a warm welcome for all of you for taking time out of your day to get a glimpse into the life of someone who's touched us in so many different ways. Our dear mother, Helene Johnson, someone who we're sorely missed. Now, before I speak any further, you might want to write down the information that's going to be displayed to you shortly. So I encourage you to grab some way of either recording it on a digital device or grab a piece of paper and a writing implement. Because we know that, as we talked about, there's two ways that you might have joined us today, either the live stream or quite possibly through the Zoom room. And that being the case, we want you to be able to give your expressions and your comments to us. Even if you don't have a particular story or comment, we would love for you to just let us know that we're here so we can get our appreciation to you. So there's an online guest book for you to sign. Again, we ask that you please make note of this URL so that you can go there and you'll be able to give your expressions and give us who you were so that we can express our thanks for you taking the time to come and join us today. Looks like my brother Todd has a thought that he wants to express as well. Can we give our attention to Todd?
Okay. So I just wanted to mention that I just received word that the obituary from Newsday has just been posted online for those of you who might want to, take a look at that.
Okay, thank you very much. So Newsday, for those who don't know, is a prominent New York paper. And Newsday, finding out about mother's passing, knowing that she was a past school president, active in the community, interviewed my brother Todd. And there is an article about her in the Newsday today. You can go to any of our children's websites, no doubt you'll be able to see that. We know that there may have been some more stories. So again, please make sure you go to that URL. Once again, and if you didn't get a chance, just reach out to any of the family members and we'll be able to get that to you. Once again, we thank you for being with us today. For those who may have arrived late, there was a series of pictures chronicling my mother's life. We're going to show that one final time. And then after we do that, we'll open up the room to everyone's microphones. So if you just want to have some greetings and salutations with each other, just stay in the room. But that is for the most part bringing our meeting to a close. We'll show the video of her chronicling her life one final time, and then we'll open the room for everyone to be able to have a group chat. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you all for being here. Really, thank you for being here.
Pictures, right? Oh, wait, my one. Ready, Dale?
She was gone too soon.
Come on.
Hi, Trey and Maureen.
Hey, Aunt Freddie.
Hello, Aunt Freddie.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Doing okay. Good to hear your voice.
You have some French fries in there too. Yeah.
French fries.
That's right.
Unmute yourself. You said no.
No.
Hello, everyone.
Who are you? Did I call your name?
Someone who didn't want to unmute themselves has.
I always said it. Like I said, warm.
I love that picture with my mother in it.
Get in there. Get in there. Go.
Hi, Roosevelt and Karen.
Oh. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Tyler.
Hey, Karen. Hey, Roosevelt.
Hey, Tyler. I'm about to go. Love you all.
Love you back, bro. Thanks for coming.
Was that? Is that Bob Gutman there?
Oh, yeah, down.
Thank you for joining us, Bob. Appreciate it.
Well,
And Beth.
my pleasure.
Are you still here?
And I see Al Gutman is on too. Al Gugliata. I'm not joking. I married you guys.
Doesn't matter.
Very good.
Maureen?
Beautiful words, Justine.
Hi, it's your sister.
Hi, Freddie.
Hi, Freddie.
Okay.
Hi. Oh, let me turn on this on my video. Oh my goodness, I look a mess. How are you?
So you look good.
Oh
Yes,
my
I agree,
God.
Matt and Justine. Thank you very much for those beautiful words, and Angelina and Nina too.
Angelina, beautiful.
TJ.
Good to see you, just.
DJ was amazing.
All right, thank you.
Hello, grandmother's gone.
She said thank you.
Matthew, you okay?
So much on the heart.
Love you, Matthew.
Yeah, we love you, Matthew.
We love you, Matthew.
Love you, Matthew.
She didn't deserve this.
It's okay, buddy. You're all right.
Yeah. I'll talk to you soon, Matthew.
Yeah,
There's
I'll call
only
you in a
one
little
person
bit,
to blame.
I'll call you in a little bit, buddy.
There's one person to blame.
No, nobody.
And that person was so full of greed, he never cared about anyone.
You can
Matthew,
call me and talk
Matthew,
to me.
now's not the time.
Matthew.
It's okay.
We love
We
you.
love you, buddy.
We all love you. All right.
My grandma's gone. And all is that rich bastard's fault.
Matthew, it's nobody's fault. We'll call you in a little bit, okay? Why don't you go get some water?
Exactly.
Talk to you later, Matthew. Hi, Tamara.
Love you, buddy.
Hey,
You're
Tony. Love you all. Love you too, Tamara. When you gonna come by?
Those words.
I'll come by soon again for you. Okay, thank you. Justine, love you.
Love you. I miss you so much.
I love you. Goodbye. Goodbye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah, guys.
Tyler, Torrance, oh no, Tony's gone.
Tony?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I got to get going. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you, Judy.
Absolutely.
Good seeing you.
Good seeing you too, and my condolences to the entire family.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good
Taj
to see
had several who,
Thank you, Sylvia.
Uncle Taj had several who reached out and commented on the YouTube, so I sent some screenshots.
Thank you very much,
Yeah,
Terrell.
you-
Great job today. Thank you for managing this. Beautifully done.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Todd, Nancy, it's Brian.
Yes.
Hey,
Hey, Brian, how you doing? Give our best and love to Austin.
Yeah, I sure am. I apologize. I wasn't able to speak up, when we had our chance. I was having technical difficulties, and I'm here at the soccer field, but with Austin, so he was listening in, during the service. But I wanted just to express, overall, that it was truly an exceptional celebration, of Aunt Helen, and I can't say enough of the pride that she must have in all the kids, yourself, Todd, Nancy, Trey, Terrence, TJ, Tony, everybody. It was truly a moving experience, and I appreciate all that you were able to share in a very brief, short period of time. Truly a celebration of life. It was touching. It was moving, and thank you.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian. We appreciate you, Brian. Thank you.
Yeah. No
It
problem.
was not just an expression of love as far as verbally, but her children and grandchildren behind the scenes just making this happen was really, really special as well.
I was really about to go.
Yeah, I mean, it shows. And so, with that in mind, the one thing I would suggest, if we can, look at just, down the line is just, assuming that we're all in a good position to get our COVID-19 vaccination shots, we may want to look at the very first weekend of August to get together. That's a weekend that at least in my mind, would like to target for us to get together and celebrate our families, basically Johnsons to celebrate, get together and celebrate, the legacy, and hopefully during that weekend would be honor my father's wishes in New York City.
Excellent. Okay, very good. Look forward to it.
Just as an incentive, this is Uncle Bob. I got my shots.
Yeah, Uncle Bob.
I'm just saying, I got my shots.
I get my second shot today.
And I'm scheduled on Tuesday to get my first, and then I'll get my second one 3 weeks later.
Yeah, March 30th for me.
Oh, good.
I'm in Florida, so we're hoping in 2021.
If you donate something to the governor, I'm sure he'll be willing to move you up.
I'm in the Dominican Republic. They just made an announcement if I can bring someone over 80 that I can get the associate shot. I reached out to all of my
80 plus.
Yeah, 80 plus.
Octogenarian friends.
I need a ride to a vaccination.
Very funny. Very funny.
Rum does the same thing.
Until then, I'm told the rum in DR is pretty good. So
yeah, got a little Brugal last night. So hopefully.
That's how we beat the COVID. So
you guys are warriors. You guys are warriors.
You mean it wasn't the bleach we were supposed to drink? It was the rum.
You don't drink what is it? Hand sanitizer?
Rum and sun.
You're
supposed to swallow a UV light and
oh yeah, put it in
yes, the light. You put it in.
Right in the bottom.
I'll just stick with bourbon. Thank you.
There we go.
Brian, I'm in the Bourbon Brotherhood. You should join us. I represent down here in Sosúa. I got as many as I could get down here, but it's just hard to find American bourbon in the Dominican Republic. I have to bring it every time I come back.
Hey, Brian, it was so nice to see your mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Nancy, thank you for the flowers. We love them.
Yes.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
That broke me down when I opened my door this morning and saw that. I'm like, who is at my door? And then when I got those flowers, I was a weeping mess when I got those. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Matthew's okay, by the way. He's all right.
Thank you, Justine.
Of course, of course. Before I let you all go, I just want to say I love you all so much. I don't have any words for how much I miss you. And I just hope I can see you guys soon.
Yes, indeed. We love you too,
Justine,
Justine.
right down the street from me.
Your words were so
All right.
beautiful.
Beep, beep. I'll get on my way. All right. Love you guys.
Okay, bye-bye.
So everything's not just, Trey, I just wanted to say what a wonderful celebration you did today, hosting. It was really wonderful. And for those of you who don't know, I grew up in North Babylon, excuse me, childhood friend from Todd all the way from elementary school. And I have fond memories of your mom, and she was a safe haven for my family during a hurricane once, and just such a wonderful, open, caring person. All of the descriptions that have been made today were dead on, and she really was what I call I find that a lot of our moms, for those of us who are around 60 or a little over, the women of the prior generation had to wear many hats in the household, and your mom was really an epitome of that, and not just the difficulties of raising a family in those part-time jobs and other stuff, but also going and trying to make a difference, like the PTA and the school board, and she was a presence, and she was a presence that was known and felt within the community, and she was really terrific. And I'll just say one other thing, as I was remembering these past few weeks since her passing, who does she remind me of and so forth. And the one image, for those of you that are big movie buffs out there, the woman that came to my mind is in the series The Matrix, the woman, the Oracle. And for those of you familiar with the movie, when she spoke, you really had to listen, because it was smart, it was poignant, and there were usually several layers of meaning even further than what was on the surface. Your mom was a very deep woman, and so was your father, and you're blessed to have such wonderful parents. God bless.
Thank you, Robert.
I'm blessed
Thank you,
to have such
Bob.
wonderful friends.
Yeah. We're glad that you become an extension of our family too, Bob. We love you very much.
Thank you. And as Todd knows, I'm still kicking myself for not getting to see her more recently in the past few years. No excuses. Just didn't happen, and I'll regret that.
But you know how much she tell you, don't beat yourself up, and how much she loves you. So.
Well, I'm going to sign off.
Thank you for being
All right, Sylvia.
Thank you for letting me be a part of this. It was beautiful.
Bye, Sylvia.
Thank you, so.
Hey, Tony. Tony, if you need me, call me. You know where I'm at, right down the road. Okay?
I will. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for bringing many of the friends from the Guardian at Leiden program as well, Sylvia, and for being a conduit to the information to them as well. So we thank you so much.
No problem. Your mom gave us 17 years of service, hundreds of kids in Hernando County. She's going to be missed.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, unless we have any further comments, I think that what we're going to do is kind of wrap up the program today. Again, one of the things we can also do is for any who like to see the video again, we can post that. And we do have a recording of the entire program. So if we need that, if you need access to that, contact one of the children and we can try to make that happen for you as well. But unless there's any further expressions, I think it's time for us to kind of call it a day, and we love everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Love you guys.
Thank you, Sister Champney, for coming.
Love you guys. Bye.
Okay.
Love you guys. It was beautiful. Talk with you